Good evening. The Tuesday, January 24th, 2017 meeting of the Leon County School Board is called to order. We are meeting in the Aquilina Howell Center at 3955 West Pensacola Street, Tallahassee, Florida. We say welcome, and our opening items will be led into by our student school board member, Ms. Blumley, who will introduce the student who will bring us the Pledge of Allegiance and the student who will do the thought for the day.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So giving the pledge tonight is Leon County Virtual School 10th grader Hannah Shimmick. She's accompanied by her mother, Miss Shelley Green, at Leon County Virtual School. She is a member of the Student Advisory Council. In addition, she was selected as their Student of the Month and leads others by a positive example. She's a leader in her school, and during her first semester of school this year, she has maintained a 4.0 GPA and has earned 6 credits. After she graduates, because of her love of animals and plants, she wants to pursue a career in veterinary medicine.
Please rise. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
The student giving our thought for the day is also another Leon County Virtual School student. He is an 11th grader. His name is Benjamin Lowe Estevez. He is accompanied by his mother, Samantha Lowe, and at Virtual School, he is also a member of the School Advisory Council, in addition to being a track and field athlete. His honors include being an honorable student every semester in high school. Benjamin's family and faith are very important to him, and he works in his family business and volunteers at his church every Wednesday and Sunday, teaching positive values to 4 through 11-year-old children. He's interested in gardening, self-improvement, physical activities, and carpentry. And overall, he just really enjoys making a difference in the lives of others.
Step up, Benjamin.
Okay, that's her. How will you create your legacy? Will it be empty, yearning to be fulfilled? Or will it be fulfilled by always being empty? You see, for those who have built their life within these 100 years on wealth, promotions, and self-fulfillment, they shall be the ones who lose it within the same life. But for those who count lost as godly gain, they shall be the ones who not only preserve this life, but the lives of others to come.
Thank you. Very well done, Benjamin, and very well done, Hannah. We thank both of you for being here tonight, and we'd just like to ask your proud parents to stand, please. Thank you for bringing them. Is the principal of the virtual school here tonight? If so, we'd like to ask the principal.
I'm representing. I'm Terry Gimble. I'm the guidance counselor.
Well, wonderful. Let's give her a hand, too. Thank you. We need all the representatives. Thank you so much. We appreciate all you do. We would love to have you stay for the entire meeting, but in as much as you may have assignments and homework, you can be excused if you'd like, okay? Thank you very much. We will now move to our changes and additions to this meeting, and they are as follows. The superintendent recommends the following changes and additions to the January 24th, 2017 school board meeting agenda. Number 1, pull item 18.06, Pinnacle Engineering Group PA short form agreement, Childs High School building number 9, mezzanine fire sprinklers, pulled. This item will be submitted at a later date with capital outlay funding. Item 2, 15.01, McInnes and Fleming Engineering, Inc., short form agreement, Water Quality Assurance Program assistance, move to consideration. Additional information will be provided for the school board meeting. This is now item 18.10. Number 3, item 18.09, Resolution 17-02, state mandated infrastructure trial for computer-based testing, changed documentation, updated language, feedback from board members. Item 4, 17.09, stipulation agreement for alternative placement, case number LCS 2016-149, pull. This stipulation was pulled for further district review. Is there a motion to receive these changes and additions?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Ms. Wood, second by Ms. Lewis Butler. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It passes 4. Thank you. All right. Superintendent spotlight tonight.
None this evening, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. Then we're ready for number 4, recognitions, Mr. Superintendent, of the Radiologist Associate Healthy Lungs Art Contest. So I think is Ms. Jillian doing that? Gregory? I believe she is.
Yeah.
Good.
I was looking out there for her. I was like, where is she? I know she's here.
Right, there she is.
Tonight, I'm thrilled to share with you for a few minutes about a great partnership between Leon County Schools and Radiology Associates. This partnership is in its second year, and we thank Radiology Associates for sponsoring the Healthy Lungs Art Contest, which teaches our students about the harmful effects of tobacco while using art in school to get that message across. This year, we had 17 elementary schools participate, and this is an increase from 8 the first year of the program. We want to especially thank those at Radiology Associates, Dr. Gonaldi, Kara Fowler, Gina Rhodes, and Marcia Meal, our very own art curriculum specialist. Additional sponsors of the Healthy Lung Arts Contest include the Tallahassee Pulmonary Clinic, Tallahassee Primary Care Associates, Tallahassee Neurological Clinic, Florida Cancer Specialists, the Barbara Bush Foundation for Family Literacy, Drs. Michael and Jana Verstoffel, Ron Bradford of Summit Group Commercial Properties. Participation in the Healthy Lungs Art Contest helps the entire school community because the proceeds directly go back to our schools. And we know teachers have a special gift for stretching those dollars, and I can assure you these funds will be put to good use. We are proud of this great partnership that promotes a healthy lifestyle and encourages our children not to use tobacco. Dr. Gonaldi? Come on up. And we'll be bringing the check forward.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for. Let me take about 5 seconds of your evening. I know everybody wants to go home, including myself. Everybody's hungry and and tired for the long day, so I'm gonna make a very fast. I've been in this town since 1981. I am the oldest of the radiologists right now, a radiology associate. I do mostly interventional procedures that implies biopsies, and the most common biopsy that we perform is biopsy in lungs, affected by numerous different pathologies, but the most common by far is cancer. As you well know, cancer secondary to smoking, lung cancer is right now the highest, the most frequent cancer, the cancer that kills you the most. 1 every 4 deaths for cancer is for lung cancer. Every year about a city as big as Tallahassee dies for lung cancer. Lung cancer doesn't look at your color or your sex. It kills you if you are white, black. The incidence is the same. If you're black, you die more frequently than if you're white in the statistics in the United States. If you're a man, you die more if you're a woman. We hear a lot about breast cancer, but lung cancer kills you more than breast cancer by far. 90% of lung cancer are secondary to smoking. I was a smoker for a long time. One evening I had my grandson visiting from out of town. Asked him to give me a hug and a kiss. He hugged me. He didn't kiss me because he said that I taste like a ashtray. I didn't take that too well. Mr. Rocky, I was the original Italian stallion. My ego went down very fast. But I thought about it, and considering that my work is concentrated again around cancer, I thought was just ridiculous that I was smoking, and you know that even if you don't smoke, but you're around smokers, your incidence for lung cancer it's over 30 times higher than if you are not around people that smoke. So I quit smoking. Essentially, that was the last evening that I smoked, and I thought, how can we help? I mean, my grandson didn't have no idea about the damage that smoking can create. He just know that I was smelling like a ashtray. So to bring the education, adults know about cancer. If they are smokers, often they deny that cancer will get them. It's always your neighbor or your friend or somebody else. It's never you. And education maybe needs to start a little earlier in life about the effect of whatever it is you want to bring on the table. So that's why we fought to create this program together with the school system in Leon County and start down very young elementary school. But it's tough to concentrate on smoking or anti-smoking campaign if you are 6, 7, 9 years old. So we tried to do something that was also fun and improved maybe the artistic quality or of a young person. So any form of media that will create the message anti-smoking was brought on the table. And that could be in the form of a sketch, a design, writing a song, writing a poem, doesn't matter what. And so we had initially less than 10 schools. This year we had 17 or 18 schools. Hopefully next year, with the support of everybody over here, we just may even move outside of Leon County and compete with schools in the surrounding districts. And the nice part for us is to see all this beautiful work that are created by different schools. And we have a group of different physicians that goes through the selection. And we decide which one we like the most for whatever is the reason, but we want everybody to participate at the end of all of this, and that's why we created a calendar that does have the front page is the one that maybe we like the most or does have something more original that shows as message, and then every page does have a major design, and essentially every page does have a number of painting that have been created by this young artist. We pretend to know which month to choose in relationship with the design that is made. For example, February, we put a heart because it's a romantic month. So I think this is very neat. We like it a lot. And we appreciate, again, the cooperation of the school, the teachers, but most important, the children that go through this. And again, we hope that this will continue and the success will be larger and larger and larger. With this, we have
I'll ask Miss Meal if you could come to the front, Dr. Meal.
This evening, we have a number of the students and families with us who participated, who are the featured artists, which means they have the big picture in the calendar. Every student that was submitted, well, that their teacher submitted, was screened at the school level, was submitted. There are over 90 students' works represented in the calendar. Some of the people that are here today, I'd like their principals and the students to come on up.
Wonderful.
Are from Buck Lake Elementary. We have Kevin Fay. And Angela Quiggins is the AP there, representing them. Lydia Zhao, your parents can come as well, the students and parents. I think that's all we have from Buck Lake. From Gretchen Everhart, we have Drew Ketchum and his dad, and Miss Jane Floyd as a principal. From Woodville, we have Sally Ash, the art teacher from there. We have Titisha Scott, the principal. And then my principal is here, Ms. Taka Mays, and myself, Marcia Meal. And if there are any others here that I missed coming in who were one of the featured artists, would you please come on up at this time? Any principals, parents, or students? I think this is pretty much it. I'm sorry, I didn't introduce you.
Latoya Montgomery.
Latoya Montgomery, with, also at Gretchen Everhart. Thank you. Okay, thank you.
Okay, and who's gonna get it? Well, we have this big piece of paper over here. So we've been able to collect this year, $10,500.
Why don't we,
The original Italian
Thank
style.
you.
I tell you.
You can either go on stage or you want to come down here and take a picture.
Yeah, let's do that real quick. Come on down.
Come on, Will. Come on, get the picture ready.
All right.
Thank you, and
Thank you
we're
so
gonna do
much.
it hopefully next year as well.
Oh, this is wonderful, and to all of you school administrators, and especially the students who were involved in this project, thank you so very much. I really-
Great. Give them another hand, please. Is there more? Dr. Grinalda and Ms. Mears, on behalf of the Leon County School Board, sir, may I just thank you for your passion, your commitment in bringing to us this updated information today on anti-smoking. We really appreciate all you do, and I can tell that this is truly a passion of yours, and we thank you so much for the program and the work that you are involved in. So we appreciate the dollars, of course, but to know that there are folk in the community who care as much as you do about our health is important. So from the school entire board, I'd just like to thank you, and I heard you say to the superintendent, we will see you next year?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Let's applaud that. Thank you. We really appreciate you. Wonderful. We are now at reports to be heard. District Advisory Council, none to date. The Student District Advisory Council, Ms. Blumbley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So giving the report today is the co-chair of our Student District Advisory Council and also Lincoln High School Student Body President Nia Close.
Oh, my goodness, Ms. Close. Ms. Close.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
On January 17th, the Student District Advisory Council met in Leon High School, in the Leon High School Media Center. Our meeting began with Mr. Chris Petley speaking on behalf of Dr. Gale. We discussed the calendar options. The Student District Advisory Council prefers option 3. All representatives are beginning to look for next year's SDAC members. We discussed the idea to host a student community conversation and town hall meeting idea. We hope to include, positively post it during the event, and to host it with the school board in the school board meeting room. We want to have an informal event for students to participate in person or through social media outlets. We hope to create SDAC bylaws by the end of the year. Emily Vomley gave the school board report and we discussed school start times. We talked about our Special Olympics project where we plan to host a community flag football tournament with our Special Olympics designees at each school. That's what we discussed.
That's a wonderful discussion. Would you like to add more?
That's it.
Hang on, Miss Nia. We're not quite through with you just yet, young lady.
I think that's it. I think
Okay.
that's it.
That's a wonderful report, and we appreciate all you do. Ms. Rasmussen?
May I ask a question?
Yes.
Can you articulate why you prefer option 3 on the calendar?
Yes, ma'am. Well, when we talked about it, I guess collectively, a lot of them liked, I guess, the end time better. When we
Around
end-
the holiday?
Yes, ma'am. And the Thanksgiving break, the whole week of Thanksgiving break, not just the day before and day after.
That's good. That provides us some.
Yeah, that's what
Option
these are.
3, that's great. Thank you, Miss Nia. I have to tell you, I was feeling rather young here a moment ago, but when I saw Neil step up and I went, oh my God, Fran and Billy were students at FSU dating way back in the day, got married, they've got 3 girls, and now here is, oh my gosh. Tell your parents I said hello, please, and we're so proud of you as we are of them, all right? And you're driving now, I suspect?
I am.
So that's why they're not here? They finally got you the car. Good for you. Good for them. Tell them I said hello. We're proud of you, and thank you for the work you do with Miss Bromley. You all just make us so proud, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Best regards. All right, Title I Advisory Council, Miss Marie Claire Lehman.
Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
I've been requested to report to you at the second school board meeting of every month, so we'll be in alternance with the District Advisory Council. So our meeting was on January 9th at Godby High School, and we had a very productive discussion to establish our top priorities and to determine also our next steps. In some cases, our next steps involve finding more information out from the district staff. In some cases, it involves finding a little bit more out about the actual challenges that Title I schools face on those particular topics that I'm going to get to in a bit. And in some cases, we feel confident about our knowledge of the situation and our assessment of the need, but we need more information about the possible solutions before we're ready to recommend anything to the school board. The top priorities, and this is just sort of a sneak peek because we're still in the process of establishing our top priorities, so I'm not, these aren't etched in stone, but the consensus seems to be around issues such as retention and recruitment of qualified and effective teachers, and also looking at student-teacher ratio and the possibilities of more paras in the classroom. School readiness, focusing on early childhood development. The health of students, all 3 of their physical, social, and emotional health and well-being. And the very large parent involvement piece, going from the involvement of parents in their own students' child's education, but also the involvement of parents across the board from PTO, SAC, DAC, TAC, coming here, and then also the very broad category of access to resource. Now, some of these things will involve looking at how the budget is currently being spent and do we have recommendations about more efficient spending, but some of it is also more policy oriented and might not involve budgetary questions. And also, because we have a very wide range of actors at the table, we feel that a lot of the needs can be also met by better coordination of existing services in and out of Leon County schools, our school district. Thank you.
Questions? None?
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate your work, Ms.
Thank
Lehman.
you.
Thank you. Foundation for Leon County Schools, Sheila Costigan, who was coming up earlier tonight handing out information board members, and she had a special song that she was singing, and at the end of her presentation, I'm going to ask and request that she sings that song. But we're going to go ahead and do this first.
Okay. Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is David Vincent. I'm with JRA Architects, but more importantly, I'm one of the board of directors for the Foundation for Leon County Schools, and I'm also a past chair. And tonight I have the honor to introduce in public, I know you saw him yesterday at the workshop, but in public for the first time, our new executive director. And it is the man, the myth, the legend that is Nick Maddox, local FSU star, NFL star, and current county commissioner. And without wanting to do, here is our new executive director.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Mr. Superintendent, Madam Chair, board members. This is an incredible opportunity that I'm looking forward to taking advantage of. When I first came into the position of executive director of the foundation, I had no idea what I was getting myself into, but every day it gets a little clearer exactly what our mission is and what we are attempting to do for Leon County Schools. I would like to thank the district for their willingness to partner and be open to different things, different ideas that we've had at the foundation in the past, and the ones we're going to have in the future. I think the strength of us raising dollars will be as much dependent on the hard work that we put forth as it is on how well we partner with the district. We would like for the people of Leon County to know that we serve as the direct support organization and fundraising arm for Leon County Schools. The money that we raise, the hard work that we put in are specifically for the programs and the teachers of Leon County Schools. And so we want to be seen as an asset. We want to be seen as a partner. And we want to have an open line of communication between the foundation and the boards as to what you may need and the things that we can help provide in the future. Without further ado, I would like to recognize Sheila Costigan. Have somebody come up for us.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, you can hear how excited we are because of this man's new leadership. One of the reasons we're here this evening is to report to you about the importance of this legislative season. And we think it's so important that you receive just a tiny bit of information that we've invited Mary Chance, the executive director of the Consortium of Florida Education Foundations, to come and give a brief overview of what's happening in our Florida legislature and a little bit about our matching grant and the power that is the consortium. So, Mary Chance.
Good evening. Happy to be with you. And Sheila did share our investment report with you that you can read at your leisure. But local education foundations in Florida have been around for about 30 years. When Betty Castor was education commissioner, and until just this past year, she was actually still a board member, a volunteer with the Hillsborough Education Foundation. And this idea that just like community colleges and universities have an aligned nonprofit organization that exists to serve the students, the teachers that they serve, that K-12 school districts could also. And today, out of 67 countywide school districts in Florida, we have 62 members of our group. We're the folks who long ago brought you the Support Education License Tag. We bound together, and that was our legislation, and it's resulted in about $12 million going to local education foundations to support their work in local communities. And since 2001, as Sheila alluded to, there were years where I didn't say this out loud, but I'm on camera now and I'll say it out loud. We are the only state who has a dollar-for-dollar match for giving for K-12 initiatives through local education foundations. So we've been appropriated the last couple of years $4.5 million. And I'll let Sheila give the detail on how that is leveraged in this community. We're not a top-down organization. We're accountable for those dollars. They have to apply. They have to certify that they raise the private sector match. They have to tell us where they want to try to move the needle in some very broad buckets, including literacy, support for low-performing students, teaching quality, career and technical education, STEM. And then those board members, and by the way, I've met lots of those board members. I've seen them out at fundraisers, raising the private sector side, working with school district leaders, figure out where they want to try to leverage those funds to have a difference. We look forward to supporting you during this time of transition. The foundation, Sheila's been actively engaged with us. If you're interested in meeting more Education Foundation folks from around the state, we do come to Tallahassee every year. We'll be here March 8th. for our professional development and sharing among the executive directors around the state, and we'll have a reception at the Historic Capitol, and we'd love to have you join us and network with Education Foundation supporters from around the state. But I'm going to let Sheila give you a little detail on the School District Education Foundation Matching Grant Program from Leon's perspective.
Thank you, thank you. The reason Mary is here is that she has been, it's her job to come to the Capitol, and we have to lobby and advocate for these legislative allotments every single year. Nothing's written in stone, and this year we're more concerned than ever. Mr. Superintendent knows this because of budget cuts, and we are striving hard, and every single district is sending a legislative delegation here to help us sustain these dollars. Our allocation last year was $56,000. We double that every single year at our annual soiree, which you all attend, and thank you. And those dollars are all sent back to your schools, and they are all accounted for, and every single program that we do is evaluated. That makes us different from any organization with whom I think you contract as a direct support organization. We can give you the reports, and in fact, on this yellow piece of paper, I was delinquent getting it into Dr. Gale to get on the agenda on your support documents, but you can see a snapshot of what we've done with our grants last year. Right now, those grants are taking place, and in front of you is a blue T-shirt, and one of our grants, our grant highlight coming up will be at Buck Lake, where you'll recall 2 years ago, we helped fund the $47,000 grant for all the UCompass to do the STEM the weather channels and the weather stations that we have. And so this is a fallout from that. We have sustained it for 3 years. And so now 6 or 7 of our schools are doing these drones and doing the launches and the balloon launches and collecting this data. We're very proud of what we do, and we need your support in every single way. I stood here tonight and watched the Radiology and Associates take that check, and I think it's wonderful and it's awesome. But how sweet it would have been for it to run through us so that we could send those dollars to our wellness champions, record those dollars, or to our art teachers, and give you the data back of how that money was spent, and we could possibly match it with private donors. So what we ask for tonight is not only your support legislatively when you run into Senator Momford and Representative Alexander and all of them, whenever that happens, but also to support us locally for the culture of our district. We're very, very happy with Superintendent Hannah's willingness to move us in a different direction, in a very collaborative direction. You know, you have the power to help us get our message out, to help us strengthen the dollars that go back to your schools directly. Nick has some fabulous ideas. I'm just so proud of this foundation. I've been serving almost 9 years. I'm going to start crying because this is my last board meeting. This is my farewell to education. I'm going to resign and ride off into the sunset, but leaving it in very capable hands. My heart has always been here. I have fought hard for everything that we do, and it's important that we work together, that culture, because what we can do with those dollars are phenomenal. There are other districts in the state who quadruple their assets from our size because of the direct support from the district, because you are the messengers that can help us get our message out. And when dollars come and people say, how can we help? You say, write a check to the foundation, because we can promise you it will go right back to our schools and valuable programs that look at the statistics that change the learning gains. We stand by it. We believe in it. Our wellness programs are all evaluated. We know exactly what they're doing. We work with the other community partners to see that it's done right. We waste not a cent, including on no high-five collaterals. We don't spend money on print. We spend it all on your schools. We're very proud of that. And the 20 women and men who serve on that board and give up their valuable time, respected community leaders and valuable businessmen and women, I just want to say thank you for the years that you've given us, and thank you for the years coming ahead, and thank you to the consortium. Not only do they give us the $56,000 every year, but they also bring corporate grants to us through Motorola and AT&T and CenturyLink, and Duke Energy's our new one, and we're always applying and the matching grant. So collectively, with everything that we do and in kind, we gave back $250,000 this year to you. So the rate of return on your investment in us is so valuable, but it can be even stronger and better. So we're looking forward to that. Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you to the board. And have a great night.
Thank you. Ms. Striplin?
Thank you.
Just before you move, please.
Thank you, yes, and thank you all for being here tonight. We too are sad to see you go, but excited about Commissioner Maddox joining our Leon County Schools education team. I wanted to make a request. is there a chance we could get a snapshot for the past 5 years of how much money you've actually given back and where that comes from? So what is it that's provided from the consortium and matching dollars? What is it? And I don't want a report. I don't want like 16 pages. I just want like a QuickBooks report. I don't know if you use QuickBooks, but some kind of financial statement so we can actually see the progression just for the past 5 years, how much is actually going back to the classroom, how much has been raised from the foundation. I don't know if we've seen that and I've just missed it, which could very well be a possibility, but I know you guys operate a little separately than Leon County Schools, like what we normally see. So is that is that a possibility?
Oh, yeah, we'll just get it from our annual audit that we do every year with our stellar reports that we have, and we'll just give you a little table with the 5-year, what we got and what went back.
That'd be awesome. Do we just want to email it to everybody at the same
Sure,
time?
I'll just
or
send
is
it,
that something?
yeah, we'll just send it to all of you.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Great. Further comments? Thank you, Sheila.
I just want to
Ms.
take a minute
Wood, go ahead.
to
Go ahead.
thank Sheila for her great work. You know, the district has benefited from your work for so long as a teacher and as a school board member and as the director of the foundation. And just, I know I speak for all of us that we really appreciate your work. Thank you so much.
The chair
I wanna
recognizes Mr. Superintendent.
Thank you. I want to echo those. I mean, we go, Ms. Costigan from, she was a English teacher
1980.
at Leon, right out of college, was the English teacher at Leon High School when I was a student, and, and all of the boys wanted.
appreciates that.
Well, well, she'll appreciate this part. So all the boys wanted to be in Miss Costigan's class.
You just needed, all you needed was a pulse at that time.
Unfortunately, I wasn't one of them. I cannot remember my English teacher's name, but it was not Miss Costigan. But I want to, I also want to echo what Roseanne said. Just thank you. Whether it was your decade, your time as a classroom teacher, your time on this board, all you've given to this community and the kids, we'll be forever grateful. I mean it, Sheila. Thank you so very much.
Well, I need to do a couple of things. I want to thank Nick, first of all, for accepting the responsibility as the new ED. And I'm going to say welcome to Leon County Schools, because now you really do work for Leon County Schools, you know. I just want you to know. I know what Sheila has said, and I was there at the meeting the other day, and I heard all of that too. But I just want to set the record straight. You know, you're part of the family, okay? And we're expecting great things and all those great ideas. We thank you very much. And Ms. Chance, I've known you through your work for many, many years. Thank you so much. Vincent, you are outstanding. We thank you. And others who are there with you, we thank you as well. Sheila, the Energizer Bunny. That's what I've called her through the years, so she knows that this is complimentary. You have been such a wonderful addition to not only this community, but as a teacher and as a school board member, and then as the executive director of the Foundation for Leon County Schools. We are going to miss you, and we're not crying. We'll get together later on and we'll talk. But when Sheila came up here tonight, she was singing this song, and
Oh, we're back to the song.
It was a little ditty.
sing the little ditty. You're retiring. You can
It's
do
my
it.
last school board meeting. It's my last school board meeting. That's all I was saying.
That was it. And she said it with such enthusiasm. Thank you so much, Sheila. As you ride off into the sunset and do wonderful things, know that the legacy of work that you have started and left here will forever be remembered. Much love. Take care.
Been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I don't believe she's really not coming back.
I know.
Thank you, Sheila.
Thank you. All right. Okay, I believe now we're at items of consent. Is there a motion? The chair would like a motion to receive the items of consent.
I move the consent agenda.
Second.
It's been moved by Ms. Lewis Butler, second by Ms. Wood. Questions? All in favor, let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposes the same, it passes unanimously, 5. We're now on items of consideration, 18.01. It calls for a public hearing and adoption. The superintendent recommends, following a public hearing, approval of amendments to current policies 1129, 3129, 4129, conflict of interest, 6110, grant funds, 6550, travel and per diem, 7450, property inventory, 85, food services, and approval to adopt new policies 6111 internal controls. 6112, cash management of grants. 6114, cost principles, spending federal funds. 6116, time and effort reporting. Effort, January 25, 2017. There are no speakers for the public hearing.
I don't believe that there are speakers, ma'am.
Thank you. Is there a motion?
I move 18.01.
It's been moved by Louis Butler,
Second.
second by Ms. Triplin. Questions? All in favor? Let it be known by stating aye.
Aye.
Opposes the same. It passes 5 unanimously. 18.02, the superintendent recommends approval to advertise new policy 5111, students in foster care, for a public hearing and adoption on February 28th, 2017.
So move.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Wood, second by Ms. Striplin. Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposes the same. Passes unanimously. 18.03, certification for pre-qualified contractors for bidding projects. Mr.
No.
Connell.
Donald.
Good evening.
Thank you. Good evening.
1803 is the routine certification of pre-qualified contractors. We have one on the list for this board meeting.
Oh, okay.
Move approval. Second.
Moved by Rasmussen, second by Striplin. Questioned by Louis Butler.
You say you have one
One for this meeting, correct.
for this meeting, okay? But to pre-qualify, so there is room for others.
Oh, any firm, there is no limit. We have probably 60 to 70 firms that are pre-qualified with the district right now.
Oh, okay.
All trades, yes.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, haven't heard discussion. Haven't heard the discussion. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposes the same. It passes unanimously. 1804.
1804 is for Rippey Construction. It's change order number 1 for Astoria Park Elementary School, Building 1. Interior finishes in the admin area, canopy and window replacement and drainage improvements. And this is a direct purchasing change order so so the district can gain the tax savings on the materials.
Move approval. Second.
Moved by Rasmussen, second by Striplin. Question? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Passes unanimously.
1805 is again Rippey Construction. This is change order number 1, same issue, direct purchasing for Godby High School, our chiller replacement, stage lighting, window replacement, and clinic upgrades.
Move it.
Second.
Moved by Louis Butler, second by Rasmussen. Questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
It passes unanimously.
1807 is for McGinnis and Fleming Engineering. This is under a continuing service contract. This is for some improvements at Lively Technical Center in the short order kitchen. They will conduct a review of the existing gas piping system and design a new system for expansion of that program for the new gas kitchen equipment.
Move it.
Moved by Wood, second by
Second.
Striplin. Questions? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposes? Nay. Unanimously approved.
1808 is a little different. This is for return of what is known as the Gilliam property to the estate. It is across the street from Leon High School. There was an agreement that the district accepted the property, and if by the end of June of this year we had not made improvements, restored it to its original condition, or replaced it in kind for some educational purpose, that it would revert to the donor at the time, or the estate. We have determined, and in coordination with the superintendent, there is no educational purpose for the property, so we are just accelerating the return of the property to the estate.
Move 18.08.
Moved by Lewis.
Second.
Butler, second by Rasmussen. Discussion?
Just,
Here-
Madam
yes,
Chair, just
yes,
a caveat,
ma'am.
and I think we mentioned this the other night, just that we discussed this at length yesterday. And we hate to give away property, but I think you guys identified the hill, the across the street, and we hate to, even parking, we discussed every avenue, and then that it just unfortunately has to be reverted back. This is not something that we
Yes, took lightly,
gave up
right.
easily.
Totally. Thank you for that.
And Madam Chair, and we have other properties adjacent to Leon High School's property that have been willed to us or we've purchased. This one just logistically didn't.
The location, the
Right.
terrain, and the
Right.
requirements in the donation itself lead it for no real good purpose for the district.
Right. Thank you so much for mentioning those points of discussion, Ms. Triplett and Superintendent. We did discuss those on yesterday. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposes, nay. It passes unanimously. And now we're at 18.09, which is the Resolution 17.2, State Mandated Infrastructure Trial for Computer-Based Testing. Is there a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
And there is discussion, I suspect?
Yes,
No?
Madam Chair.
Yes.
Excuse me, you also have two speakers
Oh, okay.
on this, I believe, on this item. Certainly one, both are on this item, okay?
All right, so we want them to speak.
Speakers first? You
We
want
want to hear the
it's your
speakers
pleasure.
first. Yes, let's hear the speakers, please. Ms. Beth Overholt, step up, please, to the microphone and give us your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Hi, Beth Overholt, 4130 Faulkner Lane, 32311.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to thank all of you for taking this issue on. So it's a little premature because you haven't passed the resolution, but I know you're gonna. So thank you. Meredith Mears also wants to send along her thanks. Also, she couldn't be here tonight. I just think you guys are becoming a great leader in these types of things, and I just want to commend you for it. I also want to thank Jillian Gregory and Bill Nimmons. They did a lot of research on this, and it was very helpful. And I think there's been a huge change. We were up at the Senate Education Appropriation Committee, and we heard from a lot of superintendents around the state pushing back on testing issues, going back to pencil and paper, getting rid of some of those EOCs that prevent kids from going on to a future. And I know that all of you want our kids to succeed. So again, this is just one step, and I just want to thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Miss Marie Claire Lehman?
Yeah, I also didn't realize that I would speak at this point, but so I don't want to thank you prematurely. But I do want to say, and I think this is relevant even at this point, that we understand as parents that you're stuck often with the directives that come down, and you have to do certain things without really any room to maneuver. But I think that what you say is also very important, and I think that over time that can make a real difference, even if in the moment you're sometimes stuck with fait accompli that you have to follow, directives that you have to follow. And I think that parents often have more room to maneuver, and we try to use that room to make our voices heard. We don't walk as tight a line as you do, but we're more easily dismissed or sidelined, and your voices are quite a bit louder. They speak volumes, and we really appreciate you standing up on this issue. Thank you.
Thank you. And would you, for the record, Ms. Lehman, just...
1911 Walhalla Court.
Thank you. We're excited to have you here as well. I think what we will do, so that we're not taking anything for granted, let's go ahead and vote on this item, and then we will see if we need to read the resolution. How about that? It's already been moved in second. All in favor, say aye. Opposes, it passes unanimously. Now, Ms. Wood, if you would read into the record the resolution, please.
I will do that. And before I do that, I appreciate the parents saying what they just said, and I appreciate the school board and the superintendent standing up on this. This is really just a small chip in a big mountain of testing and a big mountain of disruption in the schools and taking away instructional time. But I really want to thank a teacher, because a teacher is the one who made me aware of this, and then it just flowed from there. So I think if we all speak up about things we know about, and in this particular case, in case it's not really clear what we're doing, this is an infrastructure trial that's required by the Department of Education to basically prove that we have the bandwidth to run our tests. And so it's going to require a lot of instructional time lost. And our computer guys, Bill Nimmons and company, have said, hey, we can do this. We already know this. We don't really need to be doing this test. So that's what this resolution is about. Let's take away, and we're asking the Department of Education to take away this test that has no educational value, where students will just have to sit, and we will have to do it one more time. Hopefully that'll be the last time if the department accepts our resolution, just clicking on a computer, but we understand, change takes time. But hopefully next year, this time, we won't be having this discussion. And so I will read the resolution, and let's just hope that DOE and the legislators hear our cry to, testing is valuable, and using the results is a valuable thing. If we overdo it and if we think everything is a nail out there and it all needs a hammer, it doesn't. So we can chip away at this and get back to what makes common sense for schools and teachers, because I think we all embrace accountability, but we don't want to waste instructional time on things that really aren't helping our kids. So here's our resolution. Whereas the Florida Department of Education requires school districts to perform a district-wide infrastructure trial to ensure that districts are prepared for spring computer-based testing, and whereas the Florida Department of Education requires each testing site to run the Florida Standards Assessment Infrastructure Trial to simulate a computer-based administration for testing hardware and network connectivity prior to the operational administration of the tests, and whereas the FSA Infrastructure Trial necessitates widespread, simultaneous student participation to meet the trial requirements, whereas the use of students for the FSA infrastructure trial results in a significant loss of instructional time, whereas the Florida Department of Education also requires the administration of an online practice test for all participating students prior to the administration of the FSA, and whereas districts have administered computer-based testing for many years, now therefore it be resolved that for the 2017-18 school year, the superintendent and the school board of the Leon County District respectfully call on the Florida Department of Education to, 1, allow school districts to certify their own network readiness in the least disruptive manner possible, and 2, use the mandated student practice test as a method to confirm that testing hardware is ready for operational testing in a manner that is deemed least disruptive by the school district. In testimony whereof, the superintendent Leon County School Board have hereunto subscribed their names in Leon County, Florida on this 24th day of January 2017, and we've all signed it, and so thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Ms. Wood, and we hope that others around the state will follow suit.
Yes, we do.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're now down to item 18.10. McGinnis and Fleming Engineering, Inc., Short Form Agreement, Water Quality Assurance Program Assistance. Mr. Youngblood.
Thank you, Ms. Bowen. Appreciate the opportunity to come to you tonight and bring this short form agreement before you. This is McGinnis Engineering, who you've heard their name many a times on our agendas, and Mr. McGinnis will be providing for us information that we would then be moving forwards to Arcadius, who we're going to have on contract through purchase order for PTSA. That's the company we have talked to you about that will then come up with our comprehensive plan as far as our testing, not only now but for the future. Part of that process is what we call a plumbing profile. That plumbing profile will allow us to be able to see the infrastructure that's underneath, provides once the water comes in from the city, as it moves through our schools, what type of piping, what type of fittings, how many heads, how many bubblers, and then all this information will be there, and this will give us a template. So as we move into the testing program that we will be developed to make sure that we get past the snapshot of what we've already done, so that we have a very good feel. Right now, we feel very strongly confident about the quality of our water, and we want to continue making sure that we provide as much information as possible to let our public know in our schools that we are continuing to make it even better as we speak. And this contract would then allow us to continue with McGinnis providing the information, and the two of them, the plumbing engineer and Arcadius, who's going to be our primary consultant as we move together and putting together the testing plant. I also like to note that we are, as we speak, we are in the process of testing all of our ancillary sites to make sure, and we'll be posting those on our website just like we've done for our schools. And this template that we're working on now, this template will give us, if we hit an area where we get a really bad reading, or we get a situation where okay, then this template is there for us to look at as far as what we then apply to wherever that problem may occur. So it's a very positive thing as far as moving forward with our assurance program.
Okay. Questions? Comments? Thank you, Mr. Youngblood. You provided information on yesterday at our, what was that meeting called?
Agenda
We had
review.
Agenda review. Wow, we've had so many, and we appreciate the details with which you are sharing, by which you're sharing tonight. So thank you. And we look forward to continuing to know what's happening with the water.
Yes, and just so the public know, we have our website, and we'll be continually updating that.
All right.
Move approval?
All right. Moved by Wood, second by Lewis Butler. All in favor? Questions? None. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposers, nay.
Thank you.
Unanimously, it is approved. Information items, upcoming meetings, financial statement, reports from board liaisons.
Wait a minute. Whoa, financial
Well,
statement.
financial statement, is there a report on the There is? Oh, well, then let's just make that happen, Mr. Merrill. I didn't realize
We don't
that
want you
was
to be here for
coming.
no reason. Come on.
Jeepers.
Thank you for doing this again. Sorry, Madam Chair. But I knew I had put the question in, and then we thought it'd be better to just discuss it tonight. And it was funny because I ran into our facilitator today from our board retreat, and I said something about, there's a financial statement, and I think we get quarterly fund balance adjustments or general fund, we get all the changes that happen every 3 months. But I am not used to seeing a monthly financial statement. Is this something, and she said, I think it's required by statute. Is that
We
correct?
do, and quite honestly, we're a little bit behind.
Okay.
The department that does this has had a complete turnover of all their staff
No judgment.
over the past couple of years. And then even one of those who was replaced, well, a couple of them didn't pan out.
Okay.
On top of some sickness going on there. But we will have it caught up probably in February,
Okay.
if not March. We'll get all of them caught up. This one's for October.
Right.
Just gives a snapshot as of then. Rest assured, as of October, it was compared to the prior years, nothing unusual. Things are flowing as they should. And typically, too, just so you know, in October, we haven't yet received our tax money,
Right.
which comes in December. And one of the reasons this school board has never had to deal with borrowing, some school boards have to borrow this time of year because they don't have enough money coming in. We have a good enough fund balance, we've never had to do that.
Okay.
So,
So would it be normal to say once we get caught up that we would be receiving within like 30
when
days?
things are
we'd be
flowing
looking-
correctly,
Okay.
the first one you would get is in September.
Okay.
And then you would get one in October and probably November, and then Christmas comes, and we usually get about 8 or 9 of them done a year because,
Okay.
and that's okay. We've never received any audit criticism for that.
And is there any way to combine these into one instead of showing 4 different schedules, 5 different schedules, or is there just really no way to do that logically?
We could do that. The only reason we show the different schedules is to be more transparent because we show, for example, the Schedule 1 is all funds. Schedule 2 is general fund. Schedule 3 is debt service. 4 is capital outlay, and 5 is special revenue.
Okay.
So we could just go with Schedule 1 and even do a shorter report, more bullet style, like I've did for myself today. But we could change it up. It's up to you guys. This is your.
Hang on just
It's
a
a
second.
report for you.
So just kind of with an overview of it, I think just two questions. One concern and then one question. So the question is, we're looking at budget, and I'm assuming this is actual. It doesn't say actual on top of the second column, so I'm on the second. So
Second
if
column.
if we go down to the spreadsheets, it's like the second one.
Which schedule are you looking at?
I'm on the second.
Schedule 2?
Budgetary basis. Yes, Schedule 2.
Schedule 2.
Yes. And in fact, it looks like Schedule 2, Schedule 3.
General fund.
None of them say actual, but that's what we're looking at in the middle column, correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay. So is the budget, is that for the entire fiscal year or
Just
is
for the
that year
fiscal
to
year.
date?
Budget's for the entire fiscal year.
Okay.
Then the actual column is in the middle, and then on the side it says percent of budget, which means how much of the actual is a percent of what was budgeted.
Right. And I love the, on a much, much smaller scale, I produced this for my board at Big Brothers Big Sisters, and I love during, at halfway, basically, the total revenues at this point in the year should be around 33% for October, well, not now, but what we're looking at for October, and then the expenditure should be at about the same point. So
Well, if we were getting our revenue
right,
consistently.
Sure.
That would be true for revenue, but it isn't. Going back to what I said before, we get $80 million in December. So we're getting state revenue evenly, but then we get this big piece of, so you can't look at the revenue side and make that.
Sure.
You have to look at prior years, but to your point though, on expenditures, that will always be consistent. You notice down there, usually around, it's 29, 30, 35%.
Okay.
So that you could make that statement on.
I think my one concern, and this is, like I said, I think this is new to us, so it's gonna take some time to get used to reading. I mean, it's 12 pages worth of attachments. But something that jumped out at me was up in I believe it was on the very first page of verbiage. And it said something about that there's deficiencies in all fund groups.
Yes.
Can you speak to that?
Sure.
Okay.
Let's use general fund, for example.
It's under where it says current, so under expenditures, it says
At this
current.
time of year, we'll just go straight to, we have $58 million of revenue actual, but we have $72.8 million of expenditures. So we have a deficit of $14.7 million. That's where I'm emphasizing having a good fund balance is what keeps us from having to borrow money for cash flow.
Okay.
So we've spent 14.6 more than we've taken in, but we have a $34 million fund balance carried forward, so our fund balance is 19.7. When the revenues come, you'll see a financial statement coming for probably January or so. Suddenly, we're going to have a whole bunch of revenue up here, and we're going to have instead of having a deficiency, we're going to have a bigger excess at that point. So it's just timing of when revenues are coming in to the school district.
Okay. In your, last question, I promise.
All right, that's okay.
In your professional opinion, do you see anything in here that to be concerned about?
No.
Okay.
Ms. Rasmussen?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to clarify for the record, for auditors, for anybody who might be listening, not to contradict anything Ms. Strickland just said, but this is not new. We have these reports monthly. I remember several months ago, I think we got 2 at one time. There was some reason for that, and I think where there was a question. But we, except when there are extenuating circumstances, I think our finance department does a nice job of complying with the statute, which does require that we have these monthly reports. And I liken it to balancing your checkbook at the end of the month. You're looking at where we thought we were going in terms of budgeting and forecasting and where our actual expenditures are. And remember yesterday during the retreat, we talked about how we're only allowed to budget, 96% of
revenue.
Anticipated revenues for that very reason, because we can't expect that we will get 100%. And as to Ms. Strickland's request for a different format, my caution would be that we stick with general accounting standards for audit purposes. If there's a different format that would make it easier, more of a summary fashion that would make it easier for board members and the public to digest, that isn't too onerous on the staff, that would be fine, but I really want to make sure we continue to use the schedules that the DOE is used to and that the auditors are used to as the official backup for the agenda item.
Thank you, Ms. Rasmussen. Thank you, Mr. Wimberly. And anytime you come to talk to us and it's about money, and I start to think about how much we want to stay in compliance, and you're helping us to do that, you make sure that
Yes,
happens.
we do all we can to stay in compliance.
That's what we want to do. And, once you start to talk about auditors and the A word, I think, oh, we're going to be all right this time, aren't we? And that kind of thing. So I'm glad that you're on the job, because we want to continue to be transparent, as I think I've heard us say tonight, and so I appreciate all of these comments. And I started to get even a little more anxious when you started to talk about the turnover in the office and that kind of thing, you know? I guess having been in management a little while at Florida State University and appreciating so much institutional memory, you know how sometimes the old folk are the ones who remember the stuff and they have to go to the house and
Those of us that don't have
that's
Alzheimer's,
it,
yes.
that's it, and nobody told the computers, and now you've got all these problems, and here we are. I hope that's not our case. Well, and you don't have to answer that. I'm just speaking from my anxiousness, but I'm calming down now. And so as long as we're going to be where we need to be, and you're taking care of the business as you have, and we're not going to be in any audit criticisms and back downtown this year or next year, that kind of thing, I'm good. All right, Ms. Lewis Butler.
Oh, yeah, I was going to ask Mr. Wimberly, good job. The narratives.
Yes, ma'am.
The narratives express here, and then the numbers on the next page explain the narratives.
That's why yes, ma'am, we
Okay,
try to
that's
do
all.
as good as we can with that
Okay, because
narrative.
Schedule 1 through Schedule 5, then those are the narratives.
The Schedule 1 to Schedule 5 are the numbers, but then we have the narrative up front to
Right.
try to shed some light on those schedules. And we try to keep it brief because we don't
Right.
want to get too wordy.
No, I like that. I like the briefiness because it explains the percentages.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, okay, thank you.
Okay.
One more question.
Ms. Striplin.
Thank you. And Meryl, just to clarify, you said we were a little bit, hadn't been caught up. So when was the last time we received a monthly, what we're looking at now? Do you remember?
When was the last time?
Mm-hmm.
I thought we had one last month of
I
September.
don't see
We
it
didn't
in
do-
December. I don't see it.
We don't have
in-
December. October is the most recent one, which is this one.
No, I mean, when was the last board meeting that we received? So it would have been September. When did we
In
receive it?
September, yes, because we had a whole bunch of budget amendments and the annual financial report at that time.
Okay, so in
But
September,
then
we received September?
But the monthly, this would be,
It's
I think this is the first one,
This is the
you'll be
first
having-
one, meaning,
first monthly report.
so when was the last time we received a monthly report?
Actually, it seems like we did one for September. No, but this is the first one. When was the last time?
Yeah.
It would have been around for the June.
You think we received one maybe in July or August?
Not last board I'm sorry.
We haven't
Go ahead.
received, and back to my original point was, this is something I'm not used to seeing,
I can show you where you received them last spring pretty consistently.
spring, so we're talking about
Yeah.
maybe 6 or 8 months since we've received one,
No, it would've-
possibly.
Well, since probably June or July.
June or
was
July.
Was the last one.
Okay, so it is something that we're gonna work back into the process.
Yeah, the
of-
intention.
Yeah, doing, so I was correct in that this is not something we have seen in the last 6 to 8 months.
Okay. We have not kept up with it this year
Okay.
as I would have liked.
Okay. I'm just
You are
clarifying
correct.
for Ms.
But
Rasmussen,
in
that's
past
kind of
years,
what I was,
this hasn't
where I
been
was
a
going.
problem. But with turnover,
I completely understand. It was just
and we've
clarification.
got it, and we want to pick it back up.
Ms. Rasmussen,
And that's to be commended. I
hang
think we're
on, please. Hold on.
I'm not gonna make excuses. I mean, heck.
My point was.
Ms. Rasmussen.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My
Chair
point was,
recognizes.
I've been on the board for 8 years, and monthly, it's just been a recent circumstance, but it's not new to this board. I didn't mean not new in recent months. I meant it's not a new thing. We received monthly financial reports. Thank you.
Okay. Further comments, questions? Thank you, Mr. Wimberly. We will
Thank you.
look for next month's financial statement.
I gotta say something, and I look at that in 1961. I was in the first grade in 1962, and things have changed so much.
Mhm.
We used to go to Butch's stand as kids, and you'd buy candy cigarettes.
Uh-huh.
They'd have a logo like Cool or Winston.
What are you looking at,
around with those
Mayor? What
things.
are you looking at? What are you looking at?
The $10,000 check that was donated, I left it up there so everybody could see it during the meeting. And Meryl's staring at it like, well, I remember when I was a kid, That dates you, but
I
I
know
did the
it
same
does.
thing. We go to the Sing store and they had those little
Yeah.
candy cigarettes. It's almost like they were promoting for little kids
Right.
sucking like it was a cool thing to do. And here's the 6-year-old with the cigarette in his
And
mouth.
if you were cool, you could talk with them.
Right. I mean,
They'd be
well,
bobbing.
thank you for telling us what you. I thought you were hallucinating or something. I didn't know what was going on.
One more thing too. Back in those days,
Yes.
it was the adult who didn't smoke was the unusual one. You like
This is right.
so and so don't smoke because everybody smokes. It's changed a lot. Anyway,
That's our
That's
mirror.
right.
Thank you. Okay. Okay, where am I now? I'm at reports from board liaisons. Are there reports? None. Superintendent comments?
Briefly, went up to the Capitol. I was invited by John Mixon with FAFSA to go welcome different school administrators, superintendents to the capital city, to Tallahassee, as they start the legislative session. And I'm very optimistic, honestly, about this session. I think we'll have some momentum, and Ms. Wood, can't thank you enough for starting the charge with our conversation of over-testing of our kids in this board. And I am cautiously optimistic about some of the changes that may be made this session. I can see that Senator Moffett and his group and the Superintendent's Association and other members of FAFSA seem to be united this session. I have an opportunity tomorrow night to meet with Senator Young, who is from Tallahassee. She represents Central Florida, but she's on the K-12 Appropriations Committee and wants to hear what we have to say in Leon County about funding for public school or lack thereof. And I'm excited about this session. I think we can make some progress.
Thank you, Mrs. Superintendent. We're glad you're there.
Madam Chair,
Ms. Striplin?
quick comment about Senator Young. So remember Nancy Duden?
Oh.
She's her daughter.
Oh, okay.
She has direct ties to Leon County Schools.
All right.
Yes, we are classmates, actually. So
There you
she grew up here.
You know that.
All right. Continuing concerns from board members?
I don't know how-
None?
well,
Yes, Ms. Striplin?
I'm listed on here. Thank you, Madam Chair. I didn't request to be listed, but I'll go ahead and voice something while I'm on here.
Wait, where are you? On
It says
what?
continuing concerns.
Well,
I'm on the wrong agenda item.
yes, you
Sorry,
are.
I was looking back. Okay.
But we can continue
Can
something
I
next
do
time.
have something to mention?
Okay.
Quickly, sorry. I know the board had requested, Superintendent Hannah, kind of a calendar of all the school activities. I know there's been something that we brought up at several different board members. Is there a calendar so there's not conflicts? And recently a conflict has come to my attention that Best and Brightest is overlapped with Child's convocation, and it's a concern. And so I think this goes back to our repetitive conversation of we need a calendar, we need an event calendar. Now, the overlaps are going to happen; they're inevitable, but this one should not have. This is something that was discovered last summer. And there should have been a way. This affects 15 students and 15 parents, sets of parents. And they're going to have to make a choice between Best and Brightest and Child's Convocation. And I bet you all 15 of those kids there's going to be an overlap. And it's very unfortunate, and it could have been avoided. There you go.
So, yes, I hear your concern, and, the issue is every school has a master calendar to prevent things like this from happening. But as far as Leon High School, knowing what's going on at Lincoln High School or Childs High School and others, there's really not a lot of coordination between schools. And this, with Best and Brightest, is, it's not, they have private schools, public schools. They don't fall under our jurisdiction, and they knew our calendar in this situation, from what I understand, and Dr. Pridgeon, correct me if I'm wrong, that Childs High School had already set its convocation date, that the people in our school system set their date. And from the information, because I had a conversation with the principal and with Dr. Pridgeon today, that Best and Brightest ceremony was set on top of that date. And it does present a bad situation for you and the other 14 parents that are going to have to make a decision or to try to hustle from northern Leon County down to Florida State. And I am, but we're still working on a solution. But I'm disappointed that happened as well. There should have been better planning, but I would say, as far as the people we control, that their calendar is set. And I know, even from my experience at Leon High School, the night of graduation, as soon as graduation's over, the next day, that calendar is moving again for the next school year.
Right.
And I've instructed Dr. Pridgeon and Mr. Burgess to look to see, because we have not only Childs High School uses that facility, but Rickards High School has their convocation there. Other schools use that facility because it has the capacity to hold large groups of people, to see if we have any maneuverability at all. And I think Dr. Pridgeon was going to reach out to to Ms. Rogers and the people with Best and Brightest to see, but Ruby Diamond, I can assure you, it's probably, but it's unfortunate, it's sad, and I'm sorry this has happened, but we will continue to look for a potential solution.
I want to urge all the parties involved that this is about our children. This is not about who got there first. And again, we approve support for world-class schools to serve our students. And if that is their goal, then they need to look at our calendar first, and do what they have to do to work around what schools have already established. It's very disappointing, and there's no reason for this to happen. It should have been avoided.
Thank you, Ms. Triplin. Thank you, Mrs. Superintendent. We are now at new issues from board members. None. Persons to be heard. Matthew Kraus. I hope I'm not presenting it. Please come to the microphone, sir. Give us your name and address for the record. And please tell us the topic on which you're speaking, sir.
Thank you. My name is Matthew Kraus. I live at 2308 Dundee Court, 32308.
Okay.
I'm here to address two issues, one being the portable building situation at Gilchrist Elementary and the inability to get a response from the Leon County school system regarding this issue over the last 5 months. Currently, a second grade class is in a portable building at Gilchrist Elementary Schools. Portable structures are a fact of life for a growing school. However, Gilchrist has misappropriated classroom space available within the main academic building. All the children should have equal access to the same academic learning environment and not be relegated to a substandard environment that is afforded to the remainder of the Gilchrist student body. I am here today because I had requested a meeting with Gilchrist Elementary Principal Mr. Souls in the fall to discuss this injustice. He declined to meet with me. I requested to speak with then Superintendent Jackie Pons, who also refused to speak with me and delegated me back to Mr. Souls. I requested to speak with the new principal, Rocky Hanna, earlier this month regarding this issue. I called his office directly. Mr. Hanna has also did not feel inclined to speak with parent constituents like his predecessor. However, immediately after that request, I was finally contacted by Mr. Souls, who informed me that he in fact sees no difference between a tiny segregated mold-infested portable building and a much larger conjoined academic environment. Mr. Souls further disinclined to move them because he explained that he was in the process of removing the remaining portables and needed space within the main building to store desks and chairs. In essence, he has chosen storage of desks and chairs over the physical learning environment of students for the sake of convenience and arrogant indifference. This segregation is willful, unjust, and completely unacceptable. If this issue is news to you as the board members, then shame on you for allowing it to happen under your oversight as elected members. If this issue is not news to you, then you owe parents and students of that entire second grade class an apology and an explanation as to why you choose to ignore their well-being and deny them best possible academic environment that is available. When are you going to take action to start treating our children better than unused desks and chairs? Simply from an economic perspective, why are you wasting tax dollars to heat and cool desks and chairs and paying for utilities in a portable building? Why is there such waste and malfeasance? Why does it take a board meeting to be heard in the Leon County school system? Why does the superintendent feel no obligation to interact with parent constituents? I demand the very best from Leon County schools to offer all the children. I demand accountability from those responsible and well-being of our children using our tax dollars. I should not have to be here for this purpose.
Thank you, Mr. Kraus. Ms. Superintendent?
Yes, ma'am. Mr. Kraus, I just want to offer an apology. I can see if your issue has not been addressed by me or my staff or for months now, and that's on me. And, the buck stops here, and I sincerely apologize.
Well, thank you.
And I would ask for an opportunity, before you leave, I'll have Dr. Cox, who oversees elementary schools, and Danny Albritton, who oversees our facilities, and Mr. Connell, to meet with you outside to discuss your situation. And we will address it. I know we've had some overcrowding issues at Gilchrist. We've spent a lot of money at that school to eliminate portable classrooms and to move all the kids inside the buildings. I thought that had been accomplished. I usually, as I'm sure my practice as a principal is the same as superintendent, is to let the site administrator attempt to deal with a situation at their site. If they're not successful, then yes, we usually address their needs. And unfortunately, I dropped the ball here, and I owe you an apology. But I can assure you that I hear you loud and clear, and I'm this board, and I owe this board an apology as well. They had no idea about this, I can assure you, and that's not on them, that's on me. And but at this time, I'd like Dr. Cox and our facilities folks that are sitting on this side to go out and talk to you, and I will have an answer. I can assure you that.
Well, I appreciate that. I do want to know why it takes a board meeting to get an answer. I call the superintendent's number directly, specifically to ask to speak with the superintendent, your predecessor as well, understanding that you have very busy schedules, and I'm patiently awaited a return call, and instead I'm relegated to someone else. We get lost in the shuffle and no action's taken.
Well, again, I'm not gonna make excuses. I can assure that on November the 8th, I was overrun.
I'm sure.
And again, that's. I'm not trying to run from any responsibility, but I was just overrun. And I've tried as I may to delegate when you have hundreds and hundreds of calls and scheduled meetings and appointments, to try to delegate first to the site administrator and then to the people out here. There's in this audience behind you, that's their job. And if they can't solve the problem ultimately, yes, then it comes to me. But we try first with the site administrator and then with the people that oversee that site and our facilities people to get it resolved. And if that doesn't happen, then yes, in this situation, I'm not going to make excuses, and I apologize. All right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. Thank you, Mr. Kraus. Wow. Thank you, Mr. Superintendent. I'm trying to keep it together. I can keep it together. It takes a big man to say that you've been wrong. Good Lord, thank you. Mr. Sam Kearse, would you please approach the podium? And state your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, I'm Sam Kearse at 2005 Lee Avenue. So I was told, being Leon grad and Rocky being my principal, now that he's superintendent, that you can turn off the clock, and I had a little more time to speak.
Maybe not.
But, okay, I'll go fast then. So I'm here representing two identities. As a Leon grad, as a graduate of Leon County Schools and a native to Tallahassee, I moved on to FSU, and now I'm actually graduating this spring. But before I leave, I'm finishing up my term as director of the Big Event Tallahassee. We aim at kind of bridging those two identities that I really enjoy and have grown up with through community service. And what I mean by that is each year we bring together about 2,000 FSU, FAMU, and TCC students, and we do community service out in our Leon County. Last year we partnered with about 75 different sites, and actually 20 of those were Leon County schools. My understanding is we have close to 60 schools, and I would love to see this event grow and prosper with Leon County schools. A lot of the stuff we do trash pickup, we do painting, we do wiping of desks, organizing books, dusting, whatever it might be. I know a lot of times teachers, of course, overwhelmed with work and responsibilities, and that's what we're here to help out with. So we've worked with Dr. Gale in the past, and I know we'll continue working with her office and her people to continue this great partnership. But I'm here to kind of talk to you all and let you all know the great things that we're doing and the great history that we've had this past year and how we continue or look forward to continuing that partnership. There's a couple things to it. I mean, like I said, we help the schools. That's one of them. But the other thing is we have such great universities here in Tallahassee, and I know you all are familiar with, the brain drain. students come up, they get a lot of great experience at our universities, and then they go elsewhere. The Big Event aims at kind of bridging those communities and those gaps. So as educators, we're looking to keep the best and the brightest out of these universities and connect them and keep them here in Tallahassee. So that's just one other way that we can do that through the Big Event and through volunteering in general. We hope that this is kind of a launching pad for their career and community service throughout the rest of their life. So I guess that's really all I wanted to talk about. I'm looking forward to the partnership this year.
Thank you. The Big Event. Ms. Rasmussen?
The superintendent.
Oh, okay. Ms.
Sam, thank you. You were a wonderful student leader during your time at Leon High School, and you've obviously continued that at Florida State and in this community. And for you to, and I know this is right down Ms. Rasmussen's alley. So I'm sure,
yes.
but I just want to say I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
I mean that.
And thank you for coming. Ms. Rasmussen.
Just briefly, you said you're about to graduate. Are you going to stay in Tallahassee? Do you know?
I am. I'm graduating with political science, hopefully getting in-house with the Capitol over the next few years.
Well, I'd be happy to talk to you about that. I did that exact same thing.
Yes.
But before you leave, will you get in touch with me and let's talk about the future of the Big Event and how we can partner together?
That would be terrific.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Mr. Scott Mazur? Mazer. I'm sorry. I know Mr. Mazer. State your name for the record and your address, please.
Scott Mazer, 3319 Dartmoor Drive, Tallahassee, Florida. I'm here on behalf of Leon Classroom Teachers Association because we're starting a drive right now for what is called First Book. First Book is a program that provides free books for low-income students. We need 2,000 signatures from people who work at Title I schools. It can be teachers, it can be paraprofessionals, custodians, bus drivers, cafeteria workers. And in addition, we're also reaching out to community groups as well. Once we get 2,000 signatures, we get 44,000 free books. A big rig comes to town, and an army of volunteers are needed to go and organize them. Yeah, no, I already got a card right here for you. But the idea is it's a way for us to kind of go to what our goals are. As you know, I was recently elected to this position, and so it's kind of been a little paradigm shift for what we are, redefining what we are. And the first thing that we are is community, and because it's about our students. And this is one of the ways that we want to reach out to the community and let them know that, we're trying to do what we can with the students and create some relationships with local community groups in Leon County Schools at the same time. So,
Madam Chair.
Ms. Rasmussen, yes.
So what are you asking us to help you?
I've sent you an
2,000
email.
I just saw it. 2,000 signatures, but only from Title I schools, but it can be parents and
Yes. On the very front part, it says it cannot be parents. It has to be people that work with them. And that's where we've already done the calculations of there's about 1,300 teachers and paraprofessionals at those schools. But at the same time, we're also reaching out to, it can be a faith-based organization. It can be like Boys and Girls Club. Yay. It can be some other local agencies that also meet the needs of these students as well. So, as it says, military groups support family groups and programs primarily serving students with disabilities. So, there's a large array that we can kind of pull from. And our goal is that we get the signatures. It takes about 3 to 4 weeks for the bus to be loaded, or the tractor trailer to be loaded up. And so May is our date that we're kind of looking for. I will keep you informed as to the numbers and where we are. And we've already got a list of the teachers at the school, so we're kind of crossing off as people sign up because we get updates on that as well. So we're just looking for any support that we can get.
Are there any
to help this.
specific things? I think that's what she was asking that you'd like us to do.
In terms of faculty meetings, I've already reached out to the principals. We've set up some meetings at schools where we can go and work with teachers while they're at their computer lab. It's 4 quick pages. Give them a link, click, 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 sign up. And the best part about it is it's kind of like signing up for Scholastic books. But the books that you can purchase are 60 to 95% off. So it's at a reduced price. So it helps you get your library.
Okay. Further questions? Ms. Rasmussen?
And you're probably already onto this, but I recall a year or more ago that certain faith-based institutions had adopted certain schools, and that may be like a low-hanging fruit approach.
Right. No, we've already, as we've
I'm not
kind of talked to certain schools, they've said that these groups are working with
Great.
us, and we're getting those names and reaching out to them as well. So I appreciate your
Good,
time.
good.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
For your
Mr.
leadership.
Mazar. Good work. Good thing. Good thing. Miss Marie Claire Lehman. Name and address for the record, please.
Marie Claire Lehman, 1911 Walhalla Court. I'm sorry to keep coming back up today.
That's all right.
I just wanted to echo Superintendent Hannah's optimism about the legislature this year, especially with regards to the superintendent's initiative. It's great they're really speaking up. It's school choice week at the legislature this week, and I wanted to bring that to your attention. In Leon County, you've developed a lot of magnet programs, and many of them are sound, but I fear that choice can lead to increased privatization, and too much choice can be a drain on our public schools, and we risk concentrating poverty and resegregating our schools. I understand that a lot of the decisions about choice, around choice, are out of our hands here, out of your hands at the district level. New charters can be approved by the state. The proliferation of vouchers is at the initiative of other levels of government, like state and even the federal government, probably. But I'm a parent who chooses my local public school or schools, and I think that at the district level, I just want to urge you to please continue to make sure that you're giving parents real choice and not the illusion of choice by making sure that one of their options to choose from is always a good local public school. Thank you.
Oh, all right. Thank you, Miss Claire. We agree. Yeah. Good. All right. Thank you. Let me see. We have no more persons to be heard. No more speakers. Comments from anyone?
I just want to make one comment about what Ms. Lehman just said.
Okay.
Because I've been thinking a lot about this. You know, we are in competition
Yes.
with schools outside of our own public schools. And
Yes.
I think we really need to figure out a better PR campaign to let the public know what they can get in our schools. I mean, I think it's called for. We're losing students to vouchers, we're losing students to charter schools, we're losing students to homeschools. And I think sometimes that's just based on mythology, maybe seeing a school grade and thinking, oh, that's not a good school. I mean, schools are not good at promoting themselves because they're so busy helping the children. They just aren't very good at PR. And I really think that we should, as a board, as a superintendent, we should decide on a campaign about check out your local school, sort of what she was just saying, and make a big push with it. And maybe we can draw back some of our students that we're losing. So I hope that we can really think about this and do something about it.
You know, right after I took office, I met with the principals at both secondary and elementary schools and said, look, you are the face, the voice of your school, not me. My job is to do this part and go to the Capitol and fight on their behalf, and like you all will as well. And I challenged them to do just what you said, Roseanne, was to start stepping up, get with Chris Petley and get with others to show the wonderful things that are going on in your school. You're not going to see my picture at this school doing this, and that's their job. And you're right, they have a lot of things to do, but they also need to understand a part of it is to sell their school. And they get it. They a lot of them understand the competitive world in which we live and with our public school system. But we need to do just that. We need them to step up, and I'll keep prodding them, and I'm sure Chris Petley will keep prodding them to, let the community know the wonderful things that are going on in their sites.
I'm suggesting an overall marketing plan that we really, maybe we hire a professional to help us with that. I know we don't want to hire anybody, but every FTE we get back in the system brings money back into the system, and I just think we've not done enough to toot our own horn. And like I say, we tell. I've heard that as a principal many times, and I was pretty good at it. But but some people, it's just not their natural thing to go out and grab the media and say, "Look at us, look what we're doing." And that's what, marketing people do. So I think it would be worth looking at, maybe we could get that pro bono from the community. We have a lot of marketing agencies in this town. So, hey, I like pro
Why
bono.
not?
But if not, I'm serious, let's really look into
Might
that.
be right. We have not because we ask not. We might ask. Thank you, Ms. Wood.
Thank you.
Ms. Superintendent, thank you. Ms. Lewis Butler? Yes.
I wasn't here when Scott Missouri talked about this,
All right.
but I wanted to know, as the superintendent, could we put the sign up HTTPS on our main website?
Yes, ma'am, we absolutely can. I assume he's going to be working with Dr. Hightower and our Title I programs in schools, and then she can work with Chris Petley and our media people to get this information out to the community.
And so we can get on the website so that
Yes, ma'am.
we can target in more on it, more people will know to go there.
Absolutely. I feel confident he'll reach his goal.
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. I do have one final comment that I need to make tonight, board members. Mr. Superintendent, I have been on this board for a little while now. And with your talking tonight and your answering Mr. Kraus, I need to share something with you. Wow. My respect and commitment to serve with you in this district to make certain that all of our students are successful because of your answer and your honesty and accountability and responsibility that you're taking for your job has gone up 350%. I really appreciate that. It takes a real man, in Joy Bowen's opinion, to say, I didn't do all I could do and I can do better. So I thank you for that. And I also think that it is a good sign of a good leader, sir. Superintendent Rocky Hanna.
Well, thank you. And Ms. Bowen, that means a lot. And I cannot tell you after yesterday in our retreat how excited I am to work with the five of you. I am. Y'all are amazing. You're wonderful. And I see your passion and your heart. And I think us together, along with all the people sitting here in this team, we're going to do amazing things over the years to come.
All right, Ms. Lewis, votes we rise.